This week on ANN, we start the new year by talking about the new exciting initiatives coming in 2020.
We hear about what's new for this year's Global Youth Day.
And we open the door behind the scenes of ANN to share our favorite funny moments.
These stories and more coming up.
Thank you so much for joining us this week.
We typically designate the first episode of a new year to providing a glimpse into what's to come from the communication department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. We also take this time to highlight other ministries and church initiatives as well.
One of the biggest events happening in 2020 is the General Conference session coming up on June 25th to July 4th in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the United States.
We'll be sharing more details and behind-the-scenes information throughout the next 6 months leading up to GC session. But today we're going to feature a few other ministries and initiatives.
If you want to join us in Indianapolis this summer, you can visit session.adventist.org for all of the details.
We hope you'll save these dates, visit referenced websites, and make plans for the exciting projects in store for 2020.
For the past several years, the Communications Department of the Seventh-day Adventist Church, in partnership with the offices of the Global Software Hope Channel, Adventist Review, and many others, have been researching ways to make Adventist.org a more evangelistic website.
The new site just recently launched, and producer Jennifer Stymus sat down with Emily Mistrapa, Sam Neves, and Brett Harding to talk about what went into developing the new site and what it means for the Adventist Church.
So I'm really excited today because I have my team with me, the communication team for the Seventh-day Adventist World Church, Sam Neves, Brett Harding, and Emily Mistrapa, who you know as an anchor and our social media correspondent. And when you're watching this, we will have been about 2 weeks out from Adventist.org going live, right? But at the time of this recording, yesterday was the day, guys.
Yes.
How do we feel?
Excited.
Yeah.
So can you guys kind of share with me the process that it has taken to get Adventist.org to where it is today, the new Adventist.org?
It's had a lot of visioning, a lot of talking and planning, and finally in the last 12 months, 6 months, we've actually been like writing content and more of the hands-on building out the pages, building out the site. So it's been a long, varying journey.
Right. And what has sort of been the vision behind it? What was our goal when we were looking at creating a new Adventist.org? What were we thinking we wanted to do?
The complex thing about Adventist.org is that it's the digital home of the Adventist Church. Whatever you promise on this website is the promise people will expect for every local church, every Adventist hospital, every Adventist school, every Adventist member. So if somebody sits next to you on a plane and reads the promise that is being made on this website, they'll expect you, if they know you're an Adventist, to deliver on that promise. That's a phenomenal task to find what that promise is, because we have so many operations. We believe in so many different things. So we had a long process of determining what that promise will be. We talked to people from every continent. We talked to very conservative Adventists. We talked to more, for lack of a better word, more liberal Adventists. What is it that we all share in common? And all the stories of conversion, people are coming back with the Bible, the Bible, the Bible, the truth, the Bible. When I understood the Bible, I became a Seventh-day Adventist. So we landed on this promise, which is a very simple promise. We can help you understand the Bible to find freedom, healing, and hope in Jesus. And after 12 months trying to craft this sentence, people stopped changing it. We would present it to somebody and they would say, yeah, that's about right.
Emily, I was going to say, you're our digital producer here at the General Conference, but your responsibility was sort of finding the content, finding the images and that sort of thing. What sort of process did you go through and who did you work with for that?
So basically I kind of laid it out. What do we need? Pictures, we need graphics, infographics, videos, all these different things, and just kind of one by one went through it, got hundreds of pictures, we got a couple infographics made, and then for the videos, luckily Hope Channel already had like tons of video content, so we just went to them. They gave us their series, like a few different like video series, and we chopped them up, and now we have over 200 like short clips from what they gave us. So it's pretty cool that we had this resource to give us so many and they matched in. It was kind of cool. Some of them like matched perfectly. I'd read through the web page and it'd be like, oh, that paragraph is like literally exactly what this video from Hope Channel is. So it like ended up just matching. But we also came up with some of our own content. So yeah, it was a lot of videos, lots of videos to go through, lots of pictures, but I think it was really nice to see how they fit in.
One of the great things about this project is we're not in it alone in the communication department. In fact, we're just a piece. We have a lot of different partners. Who are some of our partners on this, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing? Because I think that's important too.
A key partner is the BRI. Because this is the official voice of the church in a way, if there are sentences that are dubious or there's ambiguity about what it means, you know, theologically from a doctrinal perspective, that's a problem. So BRI had to read everything, and then we have a piece that is solid. And the Center for Online Evangelism helped us a lot too, especially in the changing of tone. The tone and voice of the new website is very different from before.
So if anybody is looking, they can go to adventist.org, and what will they find? Bible studies?
Yes, they'll find lots of calls to action. That's one of the differences.
Yes.
From previous websites. You know, if we want to lead people to Bible studies, well, then let's put that in front of them.
Right.
So the constantly on the website, it's an inspiration for people to click that button and say, I want to understand more about the Bible. Because we really believe that when people understand the Bible, they will have a life-changing relationship with Jesus. Mm-hmm. And the thing that most people are not aware of is that when you start a Bible study with a Seventh-day Adventist, life isn't the same afterwards. You absolutely change. You see things in a new light. As you wake up in the morning, as you look throughout your day, life takes on a deeper meaning. And of course, you have purpose in a different way. So the website is constantly inviting you to have a deeper understanding of who Jesus is through the study of Scripture.
And right now, our cornerstones are on
Understanding the Bible,
Yep.
the Sabbath, Seventh-day Adventists as a whole, and Ellen White. That's the four. Or well, I guess we haven't done the Sabbath and Ellen White quite yet, but those are.
But they're coming in
Yeah.
January.
Yeah.
And we started with those because a lot of people have questions about Ellen White. So what do you mean? Was she a prophet or not? How does this work? You know, did she have visions from God and transliterated it? No, but what does that mean? So a lot of people have questions on this, and we're exploring all of those questions. Another topic is the Sabbath. You know, you mean to say that every other Christian denomination on the planet worships on Sunday, but you guys worship on Sabbath and you think you're right? No, the law was abolished in the Old Testament. It's over with. But is it?
So, but you can come to adventist.org and you can lead your friends there, and now you can have Bible studies. You can show them Bible studies from Adventist on adventist.org. So it is a new place that people can send people who are looking and searching for Jesus. Because the goal is to bring people to Jesus, right? To
Yes.
introduce them to Jesus. That's our goal.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for coming. It's the first time you
It's
guys are on
great.
A&M with
you.
us. Thank you so much.
Global Youth Day is an annual event where Adventist young people are encouraged to get out of their church pews and be the sermon in their community.
We sat down with Associate Director of Youth Ministries, Paco Makwane, to find out what this year's theme is and how your local church can get involved on March 21.
Hey Paco, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you, Ruben?
Great. Thanks for being here as we talk a little bit about Global Youth Day.
Thank you for having me.
Appreciate it. So to start, tell us a little bit about what is Global Youth Day?
Well, Global Youth Day is an exciting day. That's number one.
Great.
Number two, it's a day in which young people miss out on hearing one sermon to be a sermon.
Great.
So they become the hands and feet of Jesus. So this one day is done and prepared and promoted to ensure that acts of kindness are happening throughout the year.
Great. So speaking of these young people, how do these young people celebrate this day?
Different ways. You know, every year we choose a theme.
Okay.
And the theme for 2020 is I Care.
I care.
You could care about anything that you want as long as you're doing ministry. And this is what we're trying to do for the young people, not to place them in a box and tell them you're going to care for a refugee, you're going to care for a stranger or a homeless person, even though that is part of the package. They can, you know, extend this to other means and ways that remain relevant for their context.
I like that. So the theme is I care, and you want them to choose. So how did you come about this theme of I care?
Well, we have a senior youth task force at the General Conference Youth Ministries, which comprises of division directors who, make their input, and then we decide. That's how it rolls.
Great. That
Yeah.
sounds really good.
Yeah.
So now it's in here 2020 coming up.
Yep.
So how do churches, how do young people, how do they get involved? How do they know how to participate? in
So
this?
now that we have this eye care theme and we have the program and the promotions on our website, youth.adventist.org, they could go there and click on the GYD section and see the promos and the
Great.
posters. But what's critical is that GYD is a local church initiative.
GYD being
Global Youth Day. Thank you
Very
so
good.
much.
All right.
Global Youth Day is a program that happens in the local churches because we believe that that's where the rubber meets the road, and that's where action should happen, and that's where the young people are. And we want to see more youth activity at the local church. So you could engage your youth leader who already know, most of them know about it, but if they don't, they could go to our website and get some of the ideas they could, tap into for production, for promotion, for implementation, because this is where we have stored our material. So go to youth.adventist.org.
Great. Well, you heard it here. So if you are interested in Global Youth Day 2020, go to that website, and we're excited to get you involved. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Coming up, we share some of A&N's funniest moments.
But up next, Williams Costa Jr., Communication Director for this Adventist World Church, shares information about a special communication training initiative.
We may look, pray, read, think, worship, sing, and share differently, but we all look forward to the Sabbath. And we all look forward to the future when Jesus will come again. With this message in mind, we arrived at a core component for a new identity system: the creation grid, a simple 7-column structure for layout. The grid is a reference both to the prophetic timeline as well as to the creation week that culminated in the 7th-day Sabbath. Regardless of what or where you are designing, you can always find information to help you communicate that we are all Seventh-day Adventists.
Welcome back.
Adventist Communication Training, or ACT, is an initiative of the Adventist World Church's Communication Department.
Communication Director of the Seventh-day Adventist World Church, William Costa Jr., has more.
In 2019, ACT, the Adventist Communication Training, was realized in many parts of the world: Kolkata, Bangalore, and Pune in India, Cagayan de Oro, Philippines, Nairobi, Kenya, Accra, and Kumasi in Ghana. Looking forward, ACT will be delivered in Italy and Tanzania. We are translating all the material to Italian and Swahili. In both countries, the Adventist Communication Training will reach all the local church communication directors and pastors. ACT is training for the local church communication directors. The teachers are the leaders from the divisions, unions, and local conferences. The General Conference communication only facilitate and support the process. The local church communication directors must be sure the church professional leadership work integrated and united to support them.
We bring you the news every week, but what you don't get to see is the laughter that often happens between stories.
Today, we share just a few of our favorite funny moments of the past year.
I am recording, ready in 5, 4, 3, 2.
This week on A&N.
Wait, Monique, what happened to your mic? Let's try this again.
This week on A&N, the Adventist Church in North America holds its first religious freedom prayer.
Wait, I made a mistake, guys. I am so sorry. That's better.
Teenage girl is instrumental in educating villagers about health.
Yeah, I'm supposed to go after that. My bad. All right.
You ready for you? No?
He's yawning.
I'm yawning.
So boring. And there's got to be a lot of effort to reach those who. Oh. What?
Oh.
Coming up. Emily Mistrop. Okay.
Is that me or her?
Adventist delegation. Sorry. I should have worn my glasses. This is gonna be rough.
Okay.
This is gonna be a little rough. I'm just gonna warn you. Okay.
Inspired by the. Okay.
I like it. You weren't even going to try that.
I know. I
one.
was like, I
I'm
gotta take a
done.
break.
I'm done.
Let me prepare myself here.
But up next, in Sao Tome and Principe, young people use their
Tom.
Tome. But up next, in Sao Tome and Principe, young. Did I say it right?
Tom.
Did I say it right? But up next, in Sao Tome and Young Principe, that's not right either. Tome.
They'll give you a green check mark when you said the name correctly.
My goodness. But up next, in Sao Tome and Principe, young people use their school holiday to share Christ with others.
Can she? No? Entonces no. During the camporee, more than 100,000 No, not 100. Some of the people that attended got baptized.
West Africa.
Huh? Oh, I was trying to go low this time.
Next week for no news. We ain't got no news
Yeah, we're
next
done.
week.
All right,
we're done.
drop the mic.
Peace out. Jesus is coming. No news.
You can reach us by sending.
Just reach us, please.
And don't do this. You have to do this. They don't write. They
My bad.
type.
Type.
Remember, if you have a story, idea, or just, we have to start again.
Thanks for watching ANN. Join us next week for no news. There's gonna be nothing happen. All right. Don't even turn in next week. All right. Coming up, Emily Mistrapa has a rundown of more events happening in 2020.
But up next, Adventist Mission has the story of a church plant in Andorra.
May I work in with you, young fella?
Go for it.
That's the way you do it. Gotta put a little weight on it. Well, I'll put it back up here for you.
Welcome back.
40 years ago, Juan Amigo was sent to Andorra, a country located between France and Spain, to work as a colporteur and plant the first Adventist congregation in the nation.
Now, putting kids first has reshaped the style and flow of this church's worship.
Adventist Mission has more.
I have 8 sons who would soon have to enlist in the army and face serious Sabbath challenges. To protect my sons, I moved here as a literature evangelist.
40 years ago, Juan Amigo was sent to Andorra to work as a colporteur and to plant the first Adventist congregation in the nation. Andorra is a speck on the map, sandwiched between France and Spain. It lies in the valleys of a mountainous region where millions of tourists come for exciting sports activities every year. This country was one of the last unentered territories of the Inter-European Division. At that time, Juan and his family were the only Adventists in the country. Today, 5 of his sons remain in Andorra and have leadership roles in the only Adventist congregation there.
Our church is a bit different than other countries. Actually, in Andorra, there's no church registration, so we cannot exist as a church. So we created ourselves as an association, and this is the way that we can operate in this country.
Estamos en un grupo pequeño.
We are a small group. We have 25 members, of whom 14 are children.
De los cuales 14 son niños.
For several years, we did many evangelistic campaigns without many results. We decided to stop to pray until God showed us where we should focus our efforts. Now, we are focusing our efforts on our children and our children's friends, and our friends too.
Putting kids first has reshaped the style and flow of this church's worship. On Friday evenings, adult members meet at the church for Vespers and study the Sabbath School quarterly lesson ahead of schedule. This allows extra time for the kids during regular Sabbath morning activities. The study is a great way to enter the Sabbath day.
You know, in church, we're not used to put kids first. We don't give them a place in front in the stage, for example, many times, maybe only once a trimester. So we started focusing to do activities as pathfinders for our kids. That's actually what every church does. But we also created a space Saturday morning for them where they have kind of a sermon for kids, they have some activity for kids and also for the grown-ups. So we can interact, them and us, and we can learn from the kids and the kids can learn from us.
This week's teacher presents a message from the Bible. She brings visual illustrations and a kid-friendly sermon that is also enjoyable for adults. Afterward, the children break into classes to study their quarterly lesson. Then the adults enjoy a special message in the main hall. Once a month, a delicious potluck is served with a lot of international dishes and flavors. This is a great opportunity to grow relationships and nourish the body. The children of this church are catered to in a special way. They are put first because this group wants them to take leadership and ownership of church life. They are the future of this congregation, and through them, friends and parents are invited to many fun activities. Please pray for Adventist children around the world who will lead God's church in the coming days. And thank you for your support of the mission offering, which helped start this church.
Watch this and other mission stories online by visiting AdventistMission.org. Then click on videos at the top.
As you have seen, the Adventist Church has a lot going on in 2020.
Emily Mistrapa is here to talk about some of these events and where you can find out how to participate.
There are a lot of great and exciting events coming up in 2020, and we wanted to be sure that you knew all about them. 10 Days of Prayer is starting on January 8th. This is a time to be united in prayer. It can be an encouraging and powerful experience. March is a big month for youth. Every year, Global Youth Day is a huge event, making millions of impressions on social media. Youth all around the world made a great impact on their communities. This year's focus is I Care, focusing on caring for refugees, the homeless, and strangers. See how you can get involved at youth.adventist.org/GYD. Throughout the year, there are special Sabbaths for Reach the World. Each Reach the World Sabbath focuses on a different topic like personal outreach, united by our mission, and Bible study. You can find more information at children.adventist.org. In the summer, we will celebrate Refugee Sabbath, Children's Sabbath, and Education Sabbath. We'll keep you posted on all of these days as they're coming up. And later in the year, you can look forward to Global Public Campus Ministries Weekend, Creation Sabbath, and the Week of Prayer. These are just a few of the events coming up this year. Visit Adventist.org to see more, and message us to let us know what days you're most excited about and how you're planning on participating.
And finally, for today's episode, let's turn to David Trim for a look at Adventist history.
This week we hear about missionaries who served in China and the start of the church's historic work in the temperance movement.
Happy New Year to our viewers. We hope that this year you will enjoy watching about this week in Adventist history. On January 6, 1981, Samuel L. Frost died in California at the ripe old age of 96 years. For 48 years, from the time he was 21 in 1905, Samuel worked for the church. In 1916, he and his wife Ella, who he had married in 1910, accepted a call to mission service in China. For the next quarter of a century, they were missionaries to China, and their daughter Gladys was born there in 1924. In 1940, Ella and Gladys returned to the United States when a large number of Americans were evacuated from China, then under attack by Japan. Samuel was evacuated too, but to the Philippines. And then in 1942, the Japanese invaded the Philippines, and he was imprisoned for nearly 4 years before being repatriated in September 1945. Although intent on returning to China, his health had broken down in the Japanese prison camp and took 3 years to recover. Only in September 1948 did Samuel and Ella return to their beloved China, and they were there only a year when they had to leave after the victory of the communists in the Chinese Civil War. On returning to the United States, Samuel took a position as chaplain and religion teacher at Glendale Sanitarium School of Nursing, where he spent the rest of his active career. And on January 5, 1879, the American Health and Temperance Association was organized in Battle Creek, Michigan. Dr. John H. Kellogg of Battle Creek Sanitarium was elected the first president, and some 133 persons signed a pledge to stop drinking alcohol, tea, and other stimulants, though only 22 pledged to abandon tobacco. As the International Health and Temperance Association, its work continues today 141 years later. That was this week in Adventist history.
Thanks for joining us and for watching ANN. Join us next week for more news from the headquarters of the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
We'd love to hear from you. Send us your feedback and tell us how your church is making a difference in its community.
Be sure to capture plenty of video footage and photos, then write up a summary of the event's important details. And feel free to send us full video reports as well.
You can reach us by sending an email to annvideo11@gmail.com.
Before we say goodbye, here's some good news from the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, verse 19.
See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland.
That's our program for this week, and remember, you can always visit news.adventist.org for daily news and videos. Until next time, God bless.
Take care, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.